It's incredible to think, really, but next year will mark 4 years since the start of the war in Ukraine. There's been an incredible outpouring of fundraising, relief from members of the public as well. One of those is a firefighter, Amanda Ainsworth. She's been fundraising for Operation Florian. That's the project that helps to deliver fire kit to parts of Ukraine. Well, she's just come back from the country. She joins us now along with her partner, Steve Holland. Great to have you with us. I'm loving the uniform as well. So you've just come back from Ukraine. How long were you there for?
Yeah, that's right. We just came back a couple of days ago. We were there for 10 days. We entered... actually, we had to drive there because we had the trailer attached to the truck with all our aid in it. So it was over 1,000 miles of driving to actually get into Ukraine. And then, obviously, we drove right around the country and then back out. So it's an epic journey.
Wow, that is an epic journey. How long did the whole journey take you then?
It takes about 48 hours. Steve was absolutely incredible with his driving skills. We were on the road like 5 a.m. and then 15 hours driving to even get to any of our destinations because we wanted to make sure that the aid was delivered exactly where it was needed throughout the country.
Yeah, it's such an important thing, and it's an incredible operation. I'll be honest, it's one of those things that really kind of like warms your hearts to see like all these people just giving up their time, giving up their energy, getting in the car, putting the tunes on in the back and getting out there. We're looking at images now of you delivering some of that aid, that little boy taking that package there. What were you giving out?
So we have lots of people helping us. We've got a huge team of people that make donations for Steve's charity, Children of Ukraine. So then we were giving presents, Christmas presents, sweets, chocolates, and they were so grateful. A lot of these children are orphans. Their parents have been killed during the war. So for us to take them a Christmas present, it means everything to them. They were so absolutely thrilled that we'd made the journey and that they've not been forgotten about.
Oh, it's so moving just seeing, those presents being handed out. And actually, if you're just saying how these kids have often lost both of their parents, the people that you would usually be buying them presents at Christmas, and to know that they're still going to get a gift anyway. Can I ask as well, because you obviously spent a long time driving around Ukraine, seeing the country, what kind of things did you see? What kind of state is the country in after 4 years of being hammered by Russia?
Yeah, so I've been in Ukraine for 4 years now, and it's probably the worst I've ever seen it, as you move from the west over to the east. Typically, the west and the middle ground, sort of Kyiv, is not too bad. They're very resilient and they will clean up immediately after there's been a strike. But as you move over to the east, you sort of Kharkiv, and then you push down to the sort of Kherson regions, it mirrors what you'd expect to see in World War II, smashed up buildings, consistent drone and airstrikes. It's really quite sad, and the Ukrainians are by far the most resilient people that I've seen with just how they get on with life.
It's extraordinary. And actually, it's so important to hear that testimony, that sort of first-hand testimony of what you've seen across those 4 years. You talked there about the resilience of the Ukrainian people. And I wondered if you could give us a bit more insight into the state that they're in mentally as well. How do you think the population is holding up?
They're exhausted. I went to Ukraine in 2022, and I've seen the full effect and the full brunt of this war from a military and humanitarian perspective. And what I've seen now is they are exhausted, and they are literally fighting for their lives, for Ukraine. But I can really see that they are tired. And this is where you need determination and resilience to continue to take the fight to a much superior force than what they are. But to answer your question, they're exhausted and they need help, from people like us, and lots of humanitarians are going in to help them to see the brighter side of humanity and let them know that there's people on the West, their Western counterparts, that do care.
Yeah, it's absolutely critical. It's absolutely critical. I just wondered if we could end by, because you've obviously met a lot of people on your journey, we saw there some of the kids, is there any particular Ukrainian or any particular story that you will remember or that you want to share with our viewers?
Well, yeah, we actually went searching this year for children that we established relationships with back in 2022, and over the years we have lost contact with them. But this year in particular, we went to search for a little girl called Kira, who we met in 2022, and it was all off memory. We went to look for her in Kharkiv. She lived in a place called Saltivka, which faced the brunt of the Russian invasion back in the early days of the war, and we actually found her by pure luck than anything, you know, and seeing her face when we just knocked on her front door to just let her know that we still remember her and we've not forgotten about her. It just completely changes their lives. They understand that there's people out there that care, and that was a standout moment for the trip for me, anyway.
Amazing, and like you say, you know, Kira and the resilience of little girls like her is kind of reflective, isn't it, of what so many kids and parents and soldiers and wives and everyone across Ukraine has really demonstrated over these 4 years. And, you know, thank you on behalf of all of us as well for, you know, taking the time out, for giving your time and for sort of showing Ukraine that, you know, there's a lot of Brits who have got their backs. Thank you.
Thank you.